The boy, who was accused of stealing bread in a town divided by wealth and poverty, 10-year-old Daniel, faces his darkest hour when hunger drives him to steal a loaf of bread for his dying sister. Caught and condemned by the baker, Mr. Thornhill, Daniel's fate seems sealed until Lady Catherine Ashford, a wealthy widow haunted by her own loneliness, witnesses the arrest. Moved by the boy's desperate love for his sister, she makes an extraordinary decision that will transform 3 lives forever. This is a story about the moment when compassion breaks through the walls of indifference, when one act of mercy creates ripples that change destiny itself. Before we begin, tell me in the comments where you're watching from, and do you still believe that love can change someone's destiny? The marketplace buzzes with the final transactions of the day. Vendors call out discounted prices, eager to sell before nightfall. The cobblestone square echoes with the sounds of commerce. Coins clinking, cartwheels creaking, voices haggling over copper pennies. The air carries the mingled scents of roasted chestnuts, fresh flowers, and above all, bread. Warm, golden, intoxicating bread. 10-year-old Daniel stands in the shadows of an alley, his bare feet cold against the stones. His clothes are little more than rags stitched together, hanging loose on his thin frame. His face is gaunt, with hollowed cheeks and eyes that seem far too old for a child. Those eyes are fixed on one thing: the bakery window, where perfect loaves are displayed like treasures behind glass. His stomach cramps with hunger so intense it makes his vision blur. He hasn't eaten in 2 days. But that's not what drives him here, trembling at the edge of desperation. It's Maria. His 7-year-old sister lies in their single rented room 3 blocks away, burning with fever. Her lips are cracked and pale. "This morning," she whispered, "Daniel, I'm so hungry it hurts." Her small hand gripped his with what little strength she had left. "Please, just a little bread?" Daniel closes his eyes, and the memory cuts deeper than any physical pain. Their mother died last winter from the same fever that now claims Maria. Their father abandoned them years before that. There is no one else. Just a 10-year-old boy and his dying sister, invisible to a world that has no time for poor children. He's tried everything. He's begged. He's searched gutters for dropped coins. He's offered to work for food, but no one wants to hire a child with no skills and no recommendations. The charitable organizations have waiting lists. The churches gave what they could, but it's never enough. Now, watching the last light of day paint the bakery windows gold, Daniel makes a choice that will change everything. Mr. Thornhill, the baker, is a large man with flour permanently dusted into the creases of his apron. His face is stern, carved by years of hard work and harder principles. He built this bakery from nothing, waking at 4 every morning, never taking a day off, never showing mercy to those who couldn't pay. In his world, everything has a price, and theft is the ultimate sin. He turns toward the back room to retrieve another tray of rolls. The shop bell chimes. Daniel slips inside, his heart hammering so violently he thinks everyone must hear it. 3 seconds. That's all he needs. His hand reaches out, trembling, toward the smallest loaf at the edge of the display. His fingers close. Around warm crust, the word explodes through the shop like a gunshot. Mr. Thornhill's massive hand clamps around Daniel's wrist with crushing force. The bread tumbles to the floor. Daniel gasps in pain and terror, trying to pull away, but the grip is iron. "I knew it." Thornhill's face flushes red with rage. "I knew you street rats were watching, waiting. Do you think I work 14 hours a day so parasites like you can steal from me?" "Please, sir." Daniel's voice breaks, tears streaming down his dirty face. "My sister. She's sick, she's dying, she needs— I don't care if she's at death's door. That doesn't give you the right to steal." Thornhill drags Daniel toward the door. "Constable! Constable Blackwood, I've caught a thief." The marketplace falls silent. Every head turns. Whispers ripple through the crowd like wind through wheat. It's just a child. A thief is a thief, no matter the age. Probably been stealing for months. Where are his parents? Dead or worthless, no doubt. Officer Blackwood arrives swiftly, A tall man with a carefully trimmed mustache and the weary expression of someone who has made this arrest too many times. He looks down at Daniel with tired disdain. Another one, Mr. Thornhill. Caught him red-handed. I want him prosecuted. Make an example of him. These creatures need to learn respect for honest work and honest property. Daniel's whole body shakes. Please, please, I'll work for you. I'll do anything. Just let me take food to my sister first, please. They all have excuses, Blackwood says, pulling out iron shackles. The metal is cold and far too heavy for a child's wrists. Should have thought about your sister before you became a criminal. The shackles click shut. Daniel sobs openly now, not from the pain in his wrists, but from the crushing weight of failure. Maria waiting for him. Maria who will die alone because he failed her. As Officer Blackwood leads him away, the crowd parts. Some faces show pity, most show indifference. A few show satisfaction. Finally, order being restored. Mr. Thornhill returns to his bakery, already forgetting the boy's face, already calculating whether he can sell the dropped loaf at half price. But one person does not look away. Standing at the edge of the marketplace, partially obscured by the shadow of a silk merchant's awning, Lady Catherine Ashford watches the scene unfold. She is 35, elegantly dressed in deep blue silk, her dark hair pinned beneath a tasteful hat. Wealth radiates from her in the quality of her gloves, the cut of her dress, the straight-backed confidence of someone who has never known hunger. But her eyes tell a different story. They are wet with tears she refuses to let fall. Her gloved hand presses against her chest as if trying to contain a sudden sharp pain. She watches the small boy stumble in his shackles, sees how he tries desperately not to cry, sees how his lips move in what might be prayer, and she sees something in his face that she recognizes because she saw it in a mirror once. Long ago, before wealth insulated her from suffering. Desperation, pure, absolute life-or-death desperation. Her driver approaches. My lady, the carriage is ready. Shall we depart? Lady Catherine doesn't move. Her mind races. She thinks of her late husband, who died 3 years ago, leaving her with a fortune and an empty mansion. She thinks of the child they never had. She thinks of how she spent the last 3 years moving through life like a ghost, surrounded by comfort but feeling nothing, and she thinks of something her husband said before he died. Catherine, promise me you won't let our wealth just sit idle. Use it to create life where there is death. She makes a decision in that moment. A decision that feels like waking up after a long sleep. James, she says to her driver, her voice steady and clear. Follow that constable. I need to know where they're taking the boy. The holding cell beneath the town courthouse is a small, damp room that smells of mold and despair. A single barred window near the ceiling allows a thin shaft of dying light to cut through the darkness. Water drips somewhere in the shadows, a slow, relentless rhythm that marks the passage of hopeless time. Daniel sits on the cold stone floor, his back pressed against the wall, knees pulled tight to his chest. The shackles have been removed, but his wrists are raw and red. He stares at nothing, his tears long dried into salt tracks on his cheeks. He has moved beyond fear now, beyond even grief. He exists in that numb space where the mind retreats when reality becomes unbearable. Through the high window, he hears the sounds of the town settling into evening. Families going home, dinners being prepared, mothers calling children inside. A world that continues without him, indifferent to his suffering. He thinks of Maria, alone in their room, fever burning through her small body, waiting for him to return with bread that will never come. Tomorrow, Officer Blackwood explained with bureaucratic efficiency, there will be a hearing. Given his age, Daniel won't go to adult prison. No, he'll be sent to the children's workhouse, where orphans and young criminals labor 12 hours a day in textile mills. Children his age operating dangerous machinery with their small, quick fingers. If he survives a year, he'll be 11. If he survives 5 years, he'll be broken. And Maria? She'll be sent to the orphanage. If the fever doesn't take her first, God, Daniel whispers into the darkness, his voice hoarse and small. If you exist, if you hear me, please, not her. Punish me, but save Maria. She never did anything wrong. She's good. She's innocent. Please, silence answers. Just the drip, drip, drip of water. The distant sound of a world that has forgotten he exists. The sound echoes down the stone hallway. Daniel barely lifts his head. Probably the guard bringing stale bread and water. Or maybe Mr. Thornhill, come to ensure the thief suffers appropriately. But the footsteps are different, softer, lighter, accompanied by the whisper of silk. A figure appears outside the cell bars, and Daniel thinks he must be hallucinating because the woman standing there looks like she stepped out of a painting. Elegant, poised, her face illuminated by the lamp she carries, creating a halo of warm light in the surrounding darkness. Lady Catherine looks through the bars at the small boy, huddled on the floor, and her heart, already cracked in the marketplace, that now breaks completely. He looks even smaller here, more lost, a child. Just a child who wanted to save his sister, Daniel. Her voice is gentle, like rain, after years of drought. He looks up, confusion replacing despair. How do you know my name? I asked Officer Blackwood. She moves closer to the bars. I was in the marketplace this afternoon. I saw what happened. Daniel's face hardens. He knows this script. People who witness his shame want to confirm it, to feel righteous in their judgment. Then you know I'm a thief, a criminal. That's what everyone says. No, Lady Catherine's voice is firm. I know you're a brother who loves his sister more than he fears punishment. I know you're a child forced to make an impossible choice. That's what I know. The words hit Daniel like a physical shock. His eyes widen. His lower lip trembles. No one has said anything like that. Everyone called him thief, criminal, street rat. But this woman, this stranger dressed in silk and kindness, sees something different. His voice cracks. I didn't know what else to do. She's only 7. She's all I have. Our parents are gone. I tried to do it right. I tried to earn money. But no one wants to hire someone like me. And the money runs out so fast, and I watched her getting sicker. And The words tumble out in a desperate rush. Shh. Lady Catherine's hand reaches through the bars. After a moment of hesitation, Daniel takes it. Her glove is soft, warm. He cannot remember the last time anyone touched him with gentleness. I understand, and I want to help you. Why? The question emerges as barely a whisper. You don't know me. I'm nobody. I'm nothing. Lady Catherine smiles, though sadness shadows it. Do you know what my husband used to say? He said that every person matters, that we're all connected, and that the measure of a society is how it treats its most vulnerable. She pauses. I've lived surrounded by comfort, Daniel. Perhaps it's time that comfort served a purpose beyond my own ease. Daniel stares at her, afraid to hope, afraid this is a dream that will shatter. What about Maria? She's alone right now. She needs medicine. I've already sent my physician to your address. Lady Catherine squeezes his hand. Dr. Morrison is examining her as we speak. I've also sent food, blankets, and a nurse to stay with her through the night. Your sister is being cared for, Daniel. I promise you, the words don't make sense, cannot make sense. Angels, Daniel thinks suddenly. Maybe angels are real. Maybe they wear blue silk and speak with voices that sound like hope. But tomorrow, his voice drops to a terrified whisper. The hearing. They're going to send me away. They're going to, not if I can prevent it. Lady Catherine's eyes flash with determination. Tomorrow morning, I'm making a proposal to Magistrate Hartley and to Mr. Thornhill, a proposal that will change everything for you and Maria. What kind of proposal? Lady Catherine looks at this broken child, this boy who stole bread out of love, and she sees with absolute clarity what she must do, what she was perhaps always meant to do. Daniel, she says softly, I'm going to ask the magistrate to release you into my custody. I'll pay Mr. Thornhill far more than his bread was worth. And I'll take full responsibility for you and your sister. Both of you will come live with me. The world stops. The dripping water, the distant sounds, Daniel's own heartbeat. Everything freezes in this impossible moment. Live with you? The words barely form. But But I'm a thief. Everyone says so. You're a lady. I don't understand. My husband and I never had children. He died 3 years ago, and I've been alone in a house far too large for one person. I have resources, space, and time. What I don't have is purpose. What I don't have is someone to care for. Her voice softens. You and Maria need safety. I need meaning. Perhaps we can help each other. Tears pour down Daniel's face now, but they're different from before. They're tears of disbelief, of overwhelming gratitude, of fear that this might be a cruel dream. You would really do that? For us? For me? Yes, but why? I'm nobody. You're somebody who would risk everything for love. That makes you more valuable than you know. Lady Catherine stands, preparing to leave. Rest now, Daniel. Tomorrow morning, everything changes. I promise you. Trust me. As her footsteps fade down the corridor, Daniel slides down the wall, his body shaking with sobs. But for the first time in years, perhaps in his entire life, they are sobs of relief, of hope, of the possibility that maybe, just maybe, the world has mercy left in it. In the darkness of his cell, surrounded by stone and shadow, Daniel whispers, "Thank you." And somewhere in the universe, love begins to rewrite destiny. The courthouse chamber is modest but imposing. Dark wood panels line the walls, and the judge's bench sits elevated like a throne of justice. Morning light streams through tall windows, illuminating dust motes that dance in the air like tiny witnesses to human drama. Magistrate William Hartley, 60 years old, a grey-bearded, wearing the black robes of his office, sits reviewing documents. He has presided over countless cases like this. Poor children stealing. Always the same tragic story. Always the same inevitable outcome. The law must be upheld. Order must be maintained. Mr. Thornhill sits rigidly to the right, arms crossed over his chest, his face set in righteous indignation. He took time away from his bakery for this. Justice must be served. If thieves go unpunished, society crumbles. He's here to ensure that doesn't happen. Officer Blackwood stands by the door, Daniel's thin arm in his firm grip. The boy is cleaner now. Someone gave him water to wash his face, but his clothes still hang in rags, still mark him as one of society's forgotten. His eyes are swollen from crying and lack of sleep. Every few minutes he glances toward the door, as if hoping for a miracle he doesn't believe in. The chamber doors open. Lady Catherine Ashford enters with the quiet authority of someone accustomed to respect. She wears a burgundy dress of impeccable cut, her bearing straight and dignified. Behind her walks Mr. Pemberton, her solicitor, carrying a leather briefcase. Magistrate Hartley looks up, genuinely surprised. He knows Lady Catherine by reputation. Widow of the respected Lord Ashford, philanthropist, member of the town's oldest family. What brings her to a petty theft hearing? Lady Catherine. He rises slightly in courtesy. This is unexpected. How may the court assist you? Good morning, Magistrate Hartley. Her voice is calm, but carries steel beneath its surface. I'm here regarding Daniel Morris. I have a proposal that serves both justice and mercy. Mr. Thornhill leans forward, his face reddening. With respect, my lady, this is a legal matter. The boy stole from me. The law is clear. The law, Lady Catherine interrupts gently but firmly, is indeed clear. But the law also allows for restitution and rehabilitation. Does it not? She turns to face Mr. Thornhill directly. You feel wronged. A loaf of bread was taken. You've built your business through discipline and hard work, and you see this theft as a violation of everything you've earned. Am I correct? Thornhill blinks, slightly mollified by being understood. Yes, exactly. Then allow me to make restitution on Daniel's behalf. She nods to Mr. Pemberton, who produces a heavy leather purse. This contains £100. Enough to pay for that bread 500 times over. Consider it compensation, not just for the bread, but for your time, your distress, and your principles. The room falls silent. £100 for a single loaf of bread. It's extraordinary. It's excessive. Thornhill stares at the purse. His bakery doesn't make £100 in 3 months. His principles are strong, but he's also a practical businessman. And perhaps the boy really was just desperate. Perhaps mercy, when adequately compensated, isn't weakness. That's extremely generous, Lady Catherine. He hesitates, then nods slowly. Very well. I accept your restitution. I'll withdraw my complaint. Magistrate Hartley leans forward. Lady Catherine, while your generosity is commendable, there remains the question of the boy's future. He has no parents, no means of support. Even with charges dropped, where does he go? Back to the streets to steal again when hunger returns? That's precisely why I'm here. Lady Catherine steps closer to the bench, her voice growing passionate. Magistrate Hartley, I formally request custody of Daniel Morris and his sister Maria. I will provide them with shelter, food, education, clothing, and guidance. I will take complete legal and financial responsibility for their welfare and future. The magistrate's eyebrows rise. You wish to take custody of them? Yes. Foster care initially, with the intention of eventual adoption if circumstances allow. I have a large home, considerable resources, and the genuine desire to provide these children with the life every child deserves. Officer Blackwood clears his throat skeptically. My lady, with respect, do you understand what you're undertaking? The boy comes from the worst circumstances. These street children, they're different. They're raised rough. You can't simply clean them up and expect them to fit into polite society. Daniel flinches at the words, shame flooding through him. It's true. He doesn't belong in a lady's world. He'll break things. He'll embarrass her. This is all a terrible mistake. Officer Blackwood. Lady Catherine's voice cuts like a blade, sharp and cold. Daniel is not a street child. He is a child. And the circumstances of his birth do not define his worth or his potential. She turns back to the magistrate, her voice softening but losing none of its conviction. Your Honor, my husband died 3 years ago. We desperately wanted children, but were never blessed. Before he passed, he made me promise something. He said, Catherine, don't let our wealth sit idle and meaningless. Use it to create hope where there is despair, to give life where death threatens. Yesterday, I saw a child risk everything for love. How many adults would do the same? How many of us would steal to save someone we love? The room is utterly silent. Even Mr. Thornhill looks uncomfortable, perhaps remembering he has children of his own. That he too would cross any line to save them. Daniel doesn't need punishment, Lady Catherine continues, her eyes glistening. He needs what every child needs, safety, nourishment, education, and unconditional love. I can provide all of those things. I want to provide them. Please, Your Honor, let me take these children home where they belong. Magistrate Hartley removes his spectacles and rubs the bridge of his nose. In 27 years on the bench, he's seen humanity at its worst. But occasionally, very rarely, he witnesses humanity at its best. This is one of those precious moments. He looks at Daniel, really looks at him for the first time. Not a case number, not a statistic. A terrified child hanging on every word, barely daring to hope. Daniel, the magistrate says gently, do you understand what Lady Catherine is offering you? Daniel nods, his voice barely audible. Yes, sir. Is this something you want? Does he want safety? Does he want Maria to have medicine and food? Does he want someone to see him as something other than garbage to be discarded? Yes, sir. His voice breaks. More than anything in the world. Magistrate Hartley nods slowly. He picks up his gavel. The sound as it strikes echoes through the chamber like a door opening to a new world. Very well. All charges against Daniel Morris are hereby dismissed. Daniel Morris and Maria Morris are placed in the temporary custody of Lady Catherine Ashford, pending review in 6 months' time. This court believes in second chances. Don't waste yours, young man. Court is adjourned. The gavel falls again. Final, official, real. Daniel's legs nearly give out. Officer Blackwood releases his arm. Lady Catherine walks to him, kneels so they're eye to eye, and opens her arms. For a moment, Daniel hesitates. He's not used to kindness, not used to being touched with gentleness. But then something inside him breaks. All the fear, all the loneliness, all the desperate years of fighting alone, and he falls into her embrace. He sobs against her shoulder, and she holds him tight. This stranger who chose to see his humanity when everyone else saw only his crime. "It's over," she whispers. "You're safe now, both of you. I promise you're safe." Outside the courthouse, morning light breaks fully over the town. A new day, a new life, a new chance born from what should have been an ending. And in that courtroom, love rewrites the rules of justice. The carriage rolls through iron gates that seem impossibly grand to Daniel, down a tree-lined drive where ancient oaks create a cathedral of green and gold. He sits pressed against the window, his eyes wide with wonder and disbelief. This cannot be real. Places like this don't exist for children like him. Lady Catherine watches his amazement with a gentle smile. "It's called Ashford Manor. It's been in my late husband's family for generations. And now, Daniel, it's your home too." Home! The word feels impossible in his mouth. Home was a single damp room with a leaking roof and rats in the walls. This place, with its manicured gardens, stone fountain, and windows that catch sunlight like jewels, cannot be home. Not for someone like him. The carriage stops before grand entrance steps. A dignified butler opens the door. "Welcome home, Lady Catherine." "Thank you, Stevens. This is Daniel Morris. He'll be living with us now. Please ensure the entire staff treats him with respect and kindness." Stephen's professional mask slips for just a moment, surprise flickering in his eyes, but he recovers quickly. "Of course, my lady. Young Master Daniel, welcome to Ashford Manor." Daniel follows Lady Catherine up the steps and through doors that open into an entrance hall so vast it takes his breath away. Marble floors gleam. A sweeping staircase curves upward. Oil paintings of distinguished ancestors gaze down from the walls. He feels impossibly small. "Impossibly out of place, Daniel." Lady Catherine's voice is gentle. "I know this is overwhelming, but a house is just walls and furniture. What makes it a home is love, and you are loved here. You and Maria both." His eyes fill with tears at her words. "Maria, is she really here? Is she truly safe? Come see for yourself." She leads him up the staircase, down a corridor with carpet so thick it swallows sound, and stops at a door painted soft cream. She opens it gently. The bedroom is bathed in golden light streaming through lace curtains. It's decorated in pale yellows and whites, with furniture that looks like it came from a fairy tale. And in the center, in a bed with posts carved like flowers, lies Maria. She's cleaner than Daniel has ever seen her. Her hair has been washed and brushed until it shines. She wears a white nightgown soft as clouds. Her face is still pale, but no longer flushed with deadly fever. A kind-faced nurse sits nearby knitting. "Maria," Daniel whispers, and her name breaks on his lips. The little girl's eyes flutter open. For a heartbeat, confusion clouds her face. Then she sees her brother, and her expression transforms into pure joy. "Daniel." She tries to sit up, but the nurse gently restrains her. "Easy, little one. You're still recovering, but nothing can stop Daniel." He runs to the bed, falls to his knees beside it, and takes his sister's small hand in both of his. Tears stream down his face. "I'm so sorry," he sobs. "I'm sorry I left you alone. I tried to get food, but they caught me, and I thought I'd never see you again and—" "Shh." Maria's other hand touches his cheek the way their mother used to. "You're here now. We're together." She looks around the beautiful room, her eyes wide with wonder. "Daniel, where are we? Is this real?" Despite everything, Daniel laughs through his tears. "Yes, this is Lady Catherine's home. She saved us, Maria. She saved us both." Maria looks past Daniel to where Lady Catherine stands in the doorway, her own eyes wet with emotion. The little girl studies this elegant woman, who has somehow changed their entire world. "Thank you," Maria says, with the simple sincerity only children possess. "Thank you for saving my brother. He's the best brother in the whole world." Lady Catherine walks forward and sits gently on the edge of the bed. "He is indeed. And you're both very brave. You've survived things no children should ever face. But that's over now. From this day forward, you'll never go hungry again. You'll never be cold again. You'll never be alone again." "Why?" Maria asks the question that Daniel asked in the prison cell. "Why are you being so kind to us?" Lady Catherine considers this, then speaks from her heart. Because love isn't something we deserve or earn. Love is something we give freely, and in giving it, we receive it back. I've been alone for a long time, living in this big house with everything money can buy, but nothing that truly matters. You've given me something far more precious than anything I could give you. What's that? Daniel asks. Purpose, hope, a reason to wake up each morning with joy. She takes both children's hands. You see, I thought I was saving you, but perhaps you're saving me too. Time passes like a gentle river, carrying away the old life and revealing something beautiful beneath. Daniel and Maria transform in ways both visible and invisible. Their hollow cheeks fill out. Their eyes lose that hunted look. They begin to laugh freely. Maria grows stronger each day, running through the gardens, her laughter echoing through halls that had been silent for too long. Daniel learns to read, his mind hungry for knowledge, the way his body once hungered for bread. Lady Catherine teaches them how to navigate their new world. But she also learns from them, learns to see wealth not as security, but as responsibility, learns that broken things can be made whole, learns that the greatest treasures are not things, but people. One evening, Daniel finds Lady Catherine in the library. He's been thinking about something for days. Lady Catherine, his voice is hesitant. May I ask you something? Of course, dear. That day in the marketplace. Why did you stop? Lots of people saw what happened, but only you helped. Why? She sets down her book and looks at him thoughtfully. Do you know what I saw when I watched you being arrested, Daniel? He shakes his head. I saw myself. Not the same circumstances, but the same desperation. When I was young, before I married, I was desperately lonely. I felt invisible, worthless. And I made mistakes trying to be seen, trying to matter. Someone showed me kindness when I didn't deserve it, and that kindness changed my life. She pauses. When I saw you, I saw a chance to pass that kindness forward. To be for you what someone once was for me. I'll never forget what you did, Daniel says quietly. Never. And someday when I'm grown, I'm going to help other kids like Maria and me. I'm going to make sure no child has to steal bread to survive. Lady Catherine smiles, her eyes shining with tears of joy. I believe you will, and I'll help you do it. As the sun sets over Ashford Manor, painting the sky in shades of gold and rose, Lady Catherine, Daniel and Maria sit together in the garden. Maria leans against Lady Catherine, nearly asleep. Daniel watches the sunset, and for the first time in his life, he's not afraid of tomorrow. Lady Catherine. Maria murmurs sleepily, Yes, darling. Can we call you Mother? The question hangs in the evening air. Lady Catherine's breath catches. Tears roll down her cheeks as she pulls both children close. Nothing, she whispers, would make me happier, and in that moment, 3 broken pieces become one beautiful whole. A lonely woman finds purpose. 2 abandoned children find home. And love, impossible, transformative, redemptive love, proves that destiny can be rewritten by a single act of compassion. This story reminds us of a profound truth. We are never too broken to be loved, and we are never too comfortable to show mercy. Daniel was labeled a thief, but he was really a hero. Lady Catherine seemed to have everything, but she had nothing until she opened her heart. And together they discovered what so many of us forget. Real wealth isn't measured in money or possessions. Real wealth is measured in love given and received. Empathy is the bridge between different worlds. Compassion is the force that transforms destinies. Every day we encounter people who are struggling, hurting, desperate. We can walk past them or we can stop. We can judge them or we can see them. We can protect our comfort or we can risk it for someone else's salvation. The choice is always ours. Daniel stole bread out of love. Lady Catherine gave everything out of love. And love, true, selfless, transformative love, changed not just their stories but their souls. So I ask you again, do you still believe that love can change someone's destiny? After hearing this story, I hope your answer is yes, because somewhere in your world right now, there's someone who needs what you have to give. Not necessarily money, maybe just time, maybe just kindness. Maybe just the willingness to see them as human, as worthy, as deserving of a chance. Be someone's Lady Catherine. Be the moment when everything changes, because love doesn't just change destiny. Love is destiny. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs hope today. And remember, the greatest gift you can give is not what's in your wallet, but what's in your heart.